Hello, this is Tatiana with Truthball in Search of Goof, and this is, I'm not exactly sure where this video is going to go. Let's see what happens as I start blurting out. Okay, but for now, before I get started, if you haven't seen any of my videos here at Truthball, I want to let you know I'm not a doctor, and this whole channel is part of my coping strategy, and hopefully I am posting videos that are validating others. Thank you for those who put in the comments that you are validated if you think that you are in a narcissistic or abusive relationship. My goal is, hopefully helping you be aware of that so that you can make a plan to get out. I might even have to add, for this particular subject that I'm going to cover today, I am not a lawyer because I'm going to be talking about some legal stuff. So I'm sorry I don't have a title yet, but let's see what happens. Okay, so I have mentioned, for those of you who are subscribers and you've kind of kept track of some of the things that I allude to that goes on in my real life, I do have a legal issue coming up, and I have to go to court. So far, it'd be wonderful if the Lord opens up something else, but at this point, it looks like I'm going to have to go to court next week. Okay, so while I'm not going to discuss what is going on, I do want to talk about dealing with narcissists and having to go to court, okay? Because like I said, I'm not a lawyer, so I have had to learn a lot of stuff the hard way. But I am going to share with you what I have learned. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer. You can't take this to court. But I do have some advice that I wanted to share. Maybe it needs to be kind of a survival strategy going to court, or how to deal with a narcissist when you're going to court. So this is the deal. I do have a couple of people who believe that they're in the right. I think to some extent, well, every narcissist believes that they're in the right. Okay, but they did break the law against me and seem to be having a difficult time accepting that fact. Okay, and from my perspective, I am going gray rock as much as possible, right? I've posted several videos about gray rock. It is an excellent strategy. Look at me, I'm still fidgeting even in my own office because I'm concerned. I am concerned. So remember, this is part of my coping strategy, right? I got to pull myself together, y'all. Okay, and I have been pulling myself together the past few days, so here it comes as a video. Anyhow, okay, so like I said, they have their perspective, and this is, and I have my perspective, and there are hurt feelings, okay? But this is the key. We've reached an impasse. We have reached a point where you actually have to go before a judge. And once you are dealing with a narcissist who is not compassionate, not understanding, not sympathetic to the fact that they, in this case, have broken the law against me, there's no when you have to go to court, you have to keep all of your emotions in check, because the court does not care that your feelings are hurt. Okay, maybe in a civil suit or something like that where you can say, pain and distress and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, courts do not care how you feel or you feel that this happened. It is what you can prove. And so I did my research. I have consulted a lawyer, and I do understand their position. And unfortunately, according to the law, their position is undefendable. They will not win. Okay? So it's just a matter of fact of how badly is this going to affect me anyway. Anyway, this is the deal. I did talk to a lawyer and said, this is the dealio, and this is what I advise you to do as well. If you don't have any money to hire a lawyer, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline and say, I can't afford a lawyer. What is a free lawyer referral service for my area? In the United States, there is always a free lawyer referral service somewhere. And you're just going to have to keep on calling. If you're in a remote area, keep calling until you get a lawyer that can talk on the phone with you, etc. Because you can at least get a free consultation. You can look through your Google area and find out if you can get a free consultation. Okay, a lot of times they're not going to give you much information. They want you to come in and pay, figure out how much that is. You know, sometimes it can be like less than $100 just for the consultation. Okay, but with the lawyer referral service, if you can coordinate that, you can get a free, true consultation service. So I did try several times to get a lawyer that I could hire, and they couldn't squeeze me in fast enough for my court date. Anywho, so I did speak with a lawyer, and this is the number one thing you want to get out of that lawyer. Even if you don't get every single answer, a question answered, at least get a concept of what the process is. Am I having to have everything all ready to go on the first meeting? You know, what exactly is each step, okay? And especially even when you're dealing with divorce, a lot of times we think, oh, it's divorce and I've got my first court date and I need to have, you know, every bit of evidence and affidavits and all that kind of stuff all ready to go. And in fact, you don't, okay? It talk with the lawyer so that that lawyer can say, what's going to happen in the first meeting? What's going to happen in the second meeting? What happens on that court date? And get a clear understanding of what has to be done in time, in chronological order. Just that set me quite a bit at ease, because I haven't been to court for this particular issue before, and it was different than I thought. So anyway, so for my case, I have a court summons, and then, as my lawyer said, and I do advise this actually, even though I'm not a lawyer, I have heard this in multiple scenarios. The lawyer said that I'm going to have to say, you know, do I want to go to mediation or not? And what does he say? Yes. Everybody say it with me. Do you want to go to mediation? Yes. Always say yes. Always say yes to mediation. Mediation with a real estate issue a girlfriend of mine was dealing with, going to mediation meant that the other person no longer could sue for lawyer fees. Okay? Going to mediation shows the judge that you are amenable to resolving the problem. Okay? Going to mediation, especially with a narcissist, if you can hold it together and not be emotional, that narcissist will bury themselves. Let them talk. Go gray rock. Let them talk. Because everything that happens with the mediator becomes part of legal record. Okay? So you can't, you know, that person's been harassing you in private, and then they think, oh, well, here's a mediator, so now legally I have the right to chew you out, blah, blah, blah. It's going to bite them in the ass. Don't tell them that. But the mediator does not take sides, but they are legally obligated to testify or witness what was going on. Okay? So, anywho, what do we say when whatever you're going to court for, and they say, do you want to go to mediation? Yes. Even better if that narcissist says no. Right? Because it shows what their attitude is. Okay, so anyway, even though mediation is intimidating as heck, and I'm nervous about it, because if they do agree to go to mediation, I will have to sit there. Okay, but this is the deal. In my case, they called me yesterday, like on some other different phone number. And, you know, like I've said before, I'm an extremely private person, so not many people have my phone number in the first place. So getting a phone call from someone in my area code, I was pretty sure that it was going to be these people trying to hide who they were. So I answered it prepared that it was them. And sure enough, it was them. And I had to remind myself, because I've just recently done my gray rock videos, and I'm like, need to keep my peeps proud of me. I need to not get excited, not get angry, all of these kinds of things. Now, remember when I was talking about going gray rock, you can journal it out or talk to your friends or whatever your coping strategy is. So here I am saying, they did insult me at a certain point. They did insult me, and it hurt. It hurt. And it's still kind of hurting, in fact, and for some reason, I know exactly why it's difficult. The insult that they said to me was, trusted friends, I'm going to tell you. They said, you have had everything handed to you in your life. You need to pick your battles. Okay, my loves, I have had so much stolen from me in my lifetime that it hurts, because I have to. You naturally want to defend yourselves, right? Okay? When someone is trying to gaslight you and hurt you and intimidate you, scare you from standing up for your rights, they're going to do things like that. And saying such an untruth is one thing. I mean, they could tell me, well, you're a nasty brunette. That would be a lie. That would not hurt me. This insult, the reason that it hurts is because my brain defends itself and says, no, I haven't been handed everything in my life. In fact, I've had this stolen from me and that stolen from me, and I've never gotten justice for this, and I've never gotten justice for that, and I have busted my fucking ass just to have a smile on my face every day. And in order to defend myself, my brain is going into this place where I'm holding on to pain. I'm saying, no, you're wrong because this hurts and this hurts and this hurts and this hurts. And so you see how it's a catch-22 of defensiveness, It's not truly the insult that's hurting. It's my defense mechanism that's hurting. I don't really want to look at all of those things that hurt me in order to say I haven't had everything to, I'm not going to share that with them. So anyhow, as we know, right, abusive people want to hurt us that way, and I did gaslight it. I did gray rock it and not react. Now, this was the key that was most difficult during the telephone conversation. This was good news. They both did do exactly how I scripted it in my head. That, okay, if I'm going to be in court, and then they say, who wants to go to mediation? And I say yes, and then they say yes, and I'm going to be sitting in the room with the woman and the man, and I'm thinking, oh, and they're going to do this to me, they're going to do that, they're going to gaslight me, they're going to insult me, they're going to start raising their voices, they're going to start accusing me of this, that, and the other thing. They're not going to listen to what I have to say or listen to my position, or if I tell them this is what you did to break the law and this is how I tried to alert you to it and help you communicate with me about it so we wouldn't be in this situation, I'm not going to be listened to. In fact, it's going to get twisted around and thrown back at me saying, no, it's your fault that we're in this situation. And it's not. Anyway. Okay, so this was the thing. That's exactly what happened on the telephone call. I think I must have been on speakerphone because I could hear them both doing everything I just listed to you. And they started to raise their voice. I mean, as soon as I answered the phone, like I said, I suspected it was them. And then he said, this is so-and-so. And I said, yes. And that is the tone of voice that I kept the entire time, no matter what they said. And when I was upset, I was just silent. So as far as they could hear, they didn't get any rise out of me. So anyway, right in the beginning I had said, I apologize, I haven't communicated with you, but I consulted my lawyer and they advised me to wait until mediation. To which he screams back, We're not going to mediation. We're going to court, and I'm going to sue you for blah, 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 blah. And again, I'm going gray rock. I've already consulted my lawyer. I've already consulted my state statutes on what's going on, and I know for a fact that he can't sue me. He can't. But he wants to intimidate me because he thinks I'm stupid. So I did not confront the narcissist. I listened to him threaten to sue me, and we all, he wants me to be terrified, right? We all get like, oh my God, am I going to be sued? Okay, but I do know the truth. And just because I know the truth doesn't mean I'm going to throw it back at him. I don't want to confront the narcissist. I don't want to confront. It's just going to escalate the problem. And if you leave them alone when you're going gray rock, they will escalate on their own. So he threatened to sue me, etc., which was what I assumed that he would do in mediation. So it was almost kind of like we just got to have round one at least over the phone, so that maybe he can be maybe he'll be more amenable to negotiating when we're in mediation, if he goes to mediation. In the meantime, I'm getting ready to go to court if he decides truly that he's not going to mediate. Anyhow, thank you, all of you, for who's watching this far and tolerating my rambling back and forth. But anyway, as I said, when you're going gray rock and you are just letting them threaten you, insult you, attack you, try to gaslight you, blame you, they tried to triangulate some other people we know. They tried to take some information that those people had said and tried to turn them into, like, oh, this is my flying monkey. And, this is what they said about you, blah, 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 so that I'm going to get upset because currently they're trying to make me believe that my friend said blah, blah, blah. And it's drama. It's gossip. It's drama. They want me to get upset about that. They want me to feel guilty that this other friend is involved and blah, 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 blah. Now remember, if you're going to court, gossip, drama, hearsay, all of that crap does not matter. It does not matter to the judge. I have watched judges shut that crap down. I don't want to hear about it. Tell me the facts. You're going to piss off the judge. If you have to tell some type of personal story, you respectfully request of the judge to explain something. You don't just start launching into, well, they said blah, 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 and they said that, and that's a lie. Can you prove that it's a lie? If you can't prove that it's a lie, don't talk about it, because they have to prove that it's the truth, right? If they say it, then you can ask the judge, can I address that? And at that point, it will become clear to the judge that this person is attacking on things that they can't prove. And you are showing the judge, I really want to solve the legal problem. Being accused of that does hurt my feelings. Can I explain myself? And if the judge is like, I don't really fucking want to hear about it, then you honor how the judge wants their court run. Okay? Don't forget that. Always show respect to the judge, even if they're mean to you. I have had a judge be mean to me and still award me the restraining order that I had needed many, many, many years ago, because I let, and he let, in fact, the judge let the guy just talk his flipping head off. So don't forget about that. Everyone else is going gray rock on this guy. And the judge that I had at the time invited the narcissist to just ramble. And as he rambled, he revealed how manipulative, angry, obsessive he was. And the judge granted me my restraining order, even though I could not prove anything that I had said. I couldn't prove it, but he proved it himself on the stand. So anyway, I'm still nervous because there is no guarantee about what's going to happen when I go to court for the first summons. But I can tell you, I did feel validated about the videos that I've done about gray rock, that through that telephone conversation of going gray rock, they did use every narcissistic strategy that they thought would work on me. Okay, and it wasn't working. So about halfway through the conversation, they started raising their voices. And forgive me again if I was rambling earlier. I was trying to say when I answered the phone, yes, I did mention that I had said to them at the moment, I really would prefer to talk in mediation, to which they threatened to sue me and etc. So halfway through the conversation, I was able to repeat, again, I'm speaking at this tone the entire time. And if I didn't think that I could keep that tone, I shut up. I didn't say anything. I waited to get myself calm again. Halfway through the convo, they're both yelling. And I said, I feel sorry that you feel that way, but I can hear that you're both raising your voices. And again, this is my concern. I really don't want to argue. I'd really much prefer to discuss this in mediation. Now inside, I'm like, holy crap. Inside, I'm like, I don't like being yelled at. I don't like being in the situation. I don't like not being able to resolve it without court. I'm unhappy, but you have to focus on what your goal is when dealing with a narcissist. You have to stay calm, and you have to know the law. And like I said, I studied my statutes regarding the issue. I consulted a lawyer, and I do know what the process is. And if I hadn't known the process, I would have been intimidated out of my mind, right? I'm going to sue you. Can he sue me? Holy crap. No, he can't sue me. So when the threat came down, it was just a threat. When I go to the first court meeting, I want mediation. If I get mediation, I need to be prepared. So I'm doing that the next couple of days, is finalizing my preparations. And this is part of that. Just being able to share with you. Okay. Pull my head together, right? Put positive, encouraging comments for me in there. Pray for me. These are all things that are going to help me be prepared. And I also know that if we go to mediation and don't agree, or if they decide not to go to mediation and the court date is set, I have until 4 p.m. to file an answer. I would have been flipping my shit if I hadn't known that ahead of time, because my court summons is like, 1:30 in the afternoon. So I'm thinking, when am I going to get out of court? I mean, what if we wait, or what if there's a delay and I get out of court at 3:30? I'm going to need to have all of my information and my defense and my counterclaims ready to go as soon as I get out of there. I wouldn't have known any of this. If the judge is saying to me, hey, are you ready to file your answer? What answer? What am I answering? So the lawyer explained to me I needed to have my defense and my counterclaim. And then he had to explain to me 2 or 3 times the difference between a defense and a counterclaim. Excuse me. Anyhow, consult a lawyer. Okay, so I'm going to have everything written out so that at the very least I can copy it over to the next paper if it goes to a court date. That sets me a little bit more at ease too, knowing that it's going to be a stressful run before the finish line, before 4 p.m. to do the next step. Okay. Anything else? Okay. That's where I'm caught up to now, except for I wanted to go over, okay, so this was the dealio. Because I am intimidated about the mediation and the negotiation. I do know and had to clearly list out, these are my rights, and that's what you want to do. Especially like with many of us, at least those who are coming to this abuse and narcissist support videos, many of us are dealing with divorce. Okay. And so you want to know what your rights are and what you are entitled to. Okay. But when you go into mediation, here are the 3 things. I was reading this article, so I just kind of wanted to toss it up there for you guys. Okay. during mediation, even if it's a narcissist, meaning you might not achieve these things, you still behave as though you're dealing with a sane person. Okay. Now, with sane people, when you're negotiating, 3 things. You want negotiations to produce an agreement. You want to be efficient. And you want to improve, or at the very least, not damage the current relationship. Okay, so meaning, produce an agreement. When you go in there, do not get gaslighted. Do not get your feelings hurt, so now you're yammering about that hurt feeling and you're bringing up old shit and you're both attacking each other. That's not going to bode well for you. Remember, that mediator is not taking anyone's side, but they are witnessing the negotiation. Okay? You want to produce agreement. What is it that I want from this negotiation, and stick to it and repeat it? And I can say that during the telephone conversation, I put that into practice. They kept trying to gaslight me and played several different games. But I would repeat back the one thing I could glom onto. I know that this is the one thing that you want. And at a certain point, I remember even saying, this is the 6th time that I'm telling you that I am trying to do what it is that you want. The one resolution that you want, I'm working on it. Because in my mind, the only reason you're calling me is to intimidate me. Calling me will not produce the one thing that you want. And the one thing that you want, I'm actually trying to give to you. So throughout the phone call, 7 times I repeated to them, this is what you want. I hear you. This is what I'm doing to give that to you. Okay? So I am working on my agreement. And I will have to repeat that in mediation if they decide to go to mediation. This is what I'm trying to do. Okay? You are not addressing all of my other issues and the reason that this has had to go to court. And I have 4 different things that I am legally entitled to financial benefit. I was advised to go through the process, and then if the judge does not find in my favor, to sue in civil court, because I am entitled and I can prove it. Okay, so anyway, remember, produce an agreement. So at this point, the only thing I can say is I know the one thing that they want. I know the 4 things I'm entitled to. And that's the best negotiation I can say, to clearly convey to them, these are my rights according to this statute, this statute, this statute, this statute, and this is what you will owe me. Can we negotiate? Okay. And don't let your emotions get in the way. What is that strategy called? Being a broken record. It's another way of going gray rock. Being a broken record. I hear you. Repeat. I hear you. Repeat. It's a way of stonewalling, in fact, actually. Okay. Be efficient. Remember, don't get distracted by all the other crap that's flying through the air. All the drama, guilt, whatever game they're throwing at you. Be efficient. Let's get back to the point. I think if you observe your mediator, I believe that that's the mediator's job. Let's come back to the point. Okay. Be efficient. Don't waste any time in court or in mediation, or, as I'm saying, in this telephone call designed to intimidate me. Wasting time, arguing back, being defensive. It doesn't help. It only hurts you. Only hurts you. Okay. And last one, this one kind of made me stumble, right? When you're negotiating, you should either improve or at the very least not damage the relationship between the parties. Okay. So when you're dealing with somebody who you are in a super ridiculous fucking shitty situation with, you might not improve, okay? But don't make it worse. Arguing back makes it worse. Attacking makes it worse. Defending yourself makes it worse. Okay? So keep that in mind. At the very least, I want it to stay static. I'm not going to make it worse. I am not going to contribute to making it worse. If they escalate on their own, that damages them. So let it happen. Let it happen. Okay. A couple last cues on when you're negotiating. Be objective. Don't include your emotions. Focus on the interests, meaning you want to ask them who, what, when, where, and why. I mentioned this in Fighting Fair, the Fighting Fair video. You want to ask, you want to do what's called drive-through communicating. Listen to what they say, even though they said bitch and asshole and all that kind of stuff while they were spewing it out. You calmly say back, I hear that you want Saturdays with the children. Just that. You don't have to address, don't call me a fucking asshole. I'm walking out this fucking door if you keep calling me an asshole. Your mother did this and you got your best friend to do that and all of that stuff is pissing me off. You can't have Saturdays because I'm tired of putting up with your crap. Don't do any of that. I hear that you want Saturdays. That's it. That's all the court cares about. Once you're at that level, keep it simple. Okay? Find out what your common interests are. This is a hard one, emotionally. Allow the other party to save face. Allowing the other party to save face, again, comes back to what I'm saying. Don't confront them. Do not bring up your old shit. Do not embarrass them. Do not do anything that makes it worse. And this is a trick, and this is where I'm intimidated a bit, because I don't know how to help them save face other than what I've been doing, which is not gossiping about it. I think maybe 4 people know. 4 people know everything that's going on in regards to this issue that I'm going to court for. And I do want them to save face. In fact, what I want them to do is realize that if we go to court, they will not be able to save face. And I can say this. The person that I'm going to court with actually, not anymore, but used to work for the city, meaning these are going to be colleagues of the person that I'm going to court for. And this person is not going to be able to prove their case. And I can prove my case. There's nothing more that they're going to get from me by taking me to court. So truly, they are not going to be able to save face. Going to court is not a threat to me. It is a threat to them. So I'm truly, I've just been praying for them to be blessed with awareness and avoid it and negotiate with me right away before it becomes public. That's the best thing I can do, is keep my pie hole shut. As far as, yammering to our mutual friends and stuff like that. That's the best I can do. And discuss that, not the saving face part, but discuss what I just explained to you. If they go to mediation, to say, this is the law, you can't prove it, you're going to lose, and you're taking a risk that the judge is going to find in favor of the 4 things that I can prove in court. Okay? That's the best that I can hope for, is to just at least explain that to them. This is the cost of going to court to you. And hope that they make a decision based on that awareness. And offer them that opportunity to save face. Okay. And the last one is to create at least the illusion of fairness, right? When you're negotiating, everybody wants fair. I mean, I remember when I was growing up, and we used to, argue, well, that's not fair, that's not fair. And then I remember at some point, my parents saying, who said life was fair? And that is true. And the Bible says that too. It is not fair. The world is not a fair place. However, for some reason we are born with this innate desire for fairness. So, it is best for you to at least promote the illusion of fairness. My goal is for them to understand what they thought they were entitled to, which they are not, and then to show them what they're taking the risk of having to pay me, and then negotiate to some point that's fair. That's my goal. It's my hope. And if we don't reach agreement, and we do go to court, remember that it will bode in your favor that you tried to negotiate. And you did try to meet some standard of fairness. Okay? Even though we are all quite well aware that it is difficult to get justice in the world, the courts do seem to respect and honor the fact that you tried. You tried to create some justice yourselves. Okay? So even if that person loses their shit and says, no way, I'm taking you to court for everything that you've got. Rah, I'm a narcissist. I can't help but be unfair. If you keep your shit together and do your best to at least present and offer fair solutions, the more that narcissist does not accept and agree to fairness, that will become clearer and clearer to the judge, to the mediator, to all those who are witnessing what's going on, that you are a fair-minded person. Okay? All right. So I hope that's helpful for you, even though it came out incredibly rambling. It is incredibly helpful to me. So this is, I think, probably one of the most coping strategy videos I've had to do. Aside from the board game, BORED, that board game I put together because I was mourning the loss of someone else who had been in an abusive relationship. But now I'm sitting here with this little doggy licking on my hand, and I feel like I've got my head a little bit straighter, preparing for court, hoping for a resolution prior to court, but if not, I have a clearer understanding. And that is what I'm encouraging you to do. No matter what you're dealing with the narcissist, as I have done, dealing with divorces, dealing with restraining orders, friends of mine who have dealt with child custody issues, false accusations, all of these issues that come up with the narcissist where you can find yourself in court falsely accused. These are the strategies that I have observed and am in the moment, again, reminding myself that I have to adhere to these rules and strategies and this advice. I've used it before. I've witnessed friends use them before, and they do help. Okay? All right. Hopefully full of chock full of some helpful advice there. And like I said, I just super welcome any prayers and encouraging thoughts that you have for me. I don't want to go to court. I just want to make that legally official. I do not want to be in this situation, and I don't want to go to court. And I think, just on a personal note, I feel like God could help me out of the situation and has not, because I know that these people have gotten away with this with multiple other people, and people have not stood up to them. And maybe that's why we're supposed to go to court. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, hopefully there'll be a good video later on. I expect there to be. No matter what. No matter what. Everything for me always turns into good later on. Later on, we're going to pull something positive out of it. So thank you for your support. And remember the National Domestic Violence Hotline if you need to get that lawyer referral service reference in your area. National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-SAFE, 1-800-799-SAFE, 1-800-799-7233. I'm wishing you all much love.